Hi, I'm Chris. I'm here at NAMM 2015. We're sort of backstage, as it were, with Dan from Akai. He's going to show us the Advanced 49 keyboard. So I'll hand you over to him and he can demo some of the features.
Hi everyone, Dan from Akai here, and I'm here to show you the Advanced 49. It's a great keyboard, we're really proud of it. Wonderful feeling keyboard, awesome 4.3-inch color screen. Right now I'm in DAW control mode. I'm running for Ableton Live, but what we're going to do is just jump over to our VIP software. And currently right now what I have is VIP is running an instance of Massive, and these controls right here are mapped to the macro controls for Massive, so we can just get a little groove going with our keys. I got the arpeggiator running. We also have a fully integrated arpeggiator that you can actually sync to your DAW, or it'll run independently. And this arpeggiator actually has, I'll jump in and show it to you guys. It's got 100 different patterns, all selectable from the screen right here. But I don't want to change it, so I'm actually just going to leave it. Won't select anything, so I can play. I'm not much of a player, but you guys get the idea. And this is over here is the VIP software. You can see on the screen right now we have the 8 knobs that we're currently working with. So if I want to jump, I just hit this button here, Control, jump back to the knobs. I can go in here, and if I hit this button here, I can customize the knob. I can say, all right, I want to do any VST parameter here. I can set the min-max ranges, or I can also, instead of a VST parameter, I can say MIDI mode, which is this, MIDI CC. And what it does is it changes the color to blue, so you can actually see which ones are which. And now I can control a MIDI CC, and I can control a Massive parameter all at the same time. And I can also, if I want to browse around and look at some other presets, I just go into Browser. And then from here, right now, I'm looking at all these plugins. So these are all the plugins I have installed right now. And I have a few categories set up. So if I jump down to categories, I can clear all of my categories. And now I see every preset of every plugin with some exceptions. And like for instance, now let's say I want a Discovery preset. So I jump to Discovery. Now I'm only looking at Discovery presets. Then what I can do is go back up to Plugin, and I can say, all right, I want to go to Discovery. I'm looking for a bass, so we'll select that. Then we say, all right, now I want to find something that's, I don't know, let's get dirty. So I'll say dirty, and so there's my preset. So I jump over here, and I have a nice harsh FM bass. Once again, I'm not a player, I apologize, but you get the idea. So I jump back to main now, and I am in a nice FM preset. Want to play some nice front 242 stuff, I can do that. Or for instance, if I want to now layer that, what I can do is I go to multi, and now what I have here is harsh FM bass is on 1. With multi, what you can do is you can actually stack up to 8 VSTs simultaneously. So I go to, I want to say these are our sections here. I've got my FM, I can mute it if I want, so now it's not playing. I can adjust the volume. So it was playing a little loud, so I'm going to bring the volume down. Now let's say I want to put another pad on top of that. So what I would do is go back to Browser. Now over here you'll notice that I have S1 listed, and that's the first slot of my multi. What I do now is just change that to S2 and hit the button. Now what I can do is I want to find a pad to put on top of it. So I jump down to here, and I'm going to clear out the categories, and I'm going to jump back over to my plugins. So if you want a nice pad, what you can choose is, let's do Absinthe. So I'll jump over to Absinthe, and I will say, okay, let's look for a pad. So we go down here, jump to pads. I've got 5 tagged right now, and let's pick Lonely Ocean. That sounds exciting. So now what I have is a little mix. So again, once again, that FM is really overpowering, so I can jump back to multi, and I can lower the volume on harsh FM, raise up the volume on the pad, and I have a nice mix. I can continue that. I have 8 slots to work with, and right now I'm running VIP as a standalone, meaning that the software is running here, no DAW, but I can also run as a VSTI, AU, RTAS or AAX plugin inside of your DAW. And when you do that, here's one cool thing. That means inside of Pro Tools and inside of Logic, you can now run VST instruments, which is really cool.
I've jumped back in
Hello.
and to ask a few questions. So obviously the first thing, there's been the obvious comparisons with the Native Instruments range. I mean,
Sure.
what kind of, I mean, are they after the same customers? I mean, there's obviously price differences and things, but I mean, what are the things that sort of set them differently, do you think?
Well, the thing about the advanced keyboard is we wanted something that didn't care where the plugins came from. We wanted something that was generic. Basically, I can load virtually any VST plugin. It's going to automatically map that VST plugin. It'll scan all of the VST's presets, and then it'll automatically tag them. We have an automatic tagging system which looks for keywords inside of each file name, and it also looks at the bank that you're loading in. So if you're loading in a bank of basses, it'll tag everything bass. It loads in something that says like Moog or Oberheim, it'll tag it as analog, vintage. If it says dark or dirty or airy or whatever, it'll mark all of those, and it works really well. It's actually really smart about it.
And are there any exceptions, like VSTs that don't work? I mean, is that a support thing on your side? Is it something that's growing, or is it it will just work with everything?
It works with everything. There are a few companies that do their VST preset handling a little differently, and what we're doing is we're actually going in and manually tagging them ourselves, and all of those will be available as download support for customers. We actually have in here, we have a VIP store where you can go down and say, like, let's say for instance, one of my favorite plugins is Gladiator by Tone 2. You can tag, I think it tags it by bank. So Gladiator will load up, 128 presets and it'll tag it. But what I've done is I've loaded all 4,000 presets in, and I've tagged them myself, and so we'll make that available as a download for customers if they have the same plugin.
So and that's just a VIP sort of download. It's nothing to do with firmware for the device. Or...
No. It's actually, this is pretty cool. Like for instance, let's say you have a VST that you wrote, like inside of SynthEdit or something like that. What you can do is you can highlight the name of your preset. Like I'm highlighting Diva right here. Let me clear out my tags because there. So now we see all my presets. I go to Diva, and what I can do is I go to Diva, and if you right click on it, you can, sorry, it's not right click, I changed it. 3, 2, 1, boom. I select Diva. What I can do is if I go to File, I can import plugin maps, and I can also export a plugin map. So what that'll do is that'll export all of my Diva presets and all of my tags and all the ways that I've set up my knobs, and then I can share that with friends, or I can put it on a forum and say, hey everybody, I've tagged my Diva presets.
And are Akai looking to do some kind of user forum, user base for that kind of stuff?
All of that stuff is in process. We're rolling out a new Akai site very soon. I would love to see a sharing forum where users can have all of their tags, and
what about mappings as well? Is that handled in a similar way, or is that generally automatic, or are people going to have their preset maps as well?
Well, for like things like the Native Instruments plugins and a lot of our other favorite plugins that we've mapped them so they make sense. Like for instance, FM8, it controls, like FM8 has offsets for controlling ADSR for timbre and for volume. We've mapped those to the knobs. You have 4 banks of knobs inside VIP. So if you go to the controls, you have these 8 knobs, you have these 8 buttons, but hitting these buttons here, you can page through. Right now, we have 4 pages. I would like to see that where you can actually customize however many pages a plugin will have. Like if I have something that I know I like to dive in sound design wise, I can get however many pages I need. But that's going to be in the future.
And so obviously you talked about how Pro Tools and Logic can then load VSTs
right.
With the VIP software. Does that mean other plugins that it has to be a VST essentially? You can't do it the other way around. Okay.
Yeah, it's a We use the VSTIs, and the reason for that is because we wanted to really make sure that this was a really stable product out the gate. The product is really designed for a gigging musician or a producer, and we wanted to make sure that it was really stable and it was really comprehensible. There's actually one feature that I neglected to mention that I want to show you guys right now is if you go to up here on the main page, it's called sets. What you can do is you have set lists, and I can choose, for instance, my Saturday set. Now I select Saturday set. What this is this is a list of all the presets that I'm going to need for Saturday. So I can just highlight what preset I need, jump into it, and it doesn't care what plugin it is. So I have some sets for, I have some presets for Diva. I have some presets for Big Bang 2 because I'm going to play some drums. I also have a multi in here, so if I click this, it's going to load up my multi, and then I'll have, you know, I can do a keyboard split, for instance. Like I want to play, okay, I want to play some bass down here, and I want to play some keys up here, and then just, you know, drop down to the next one and select it, and then there's your next preset. Makes it really easy for gigging musicians.
And finally, so I mean, predominantly it is a keyboard. It's aimed at sort of synths and virtual instruments. But
Absolutely.
is there any reason why you can't map stuff to, you know, compressor plugins, or is it that kind of?
Not at all. Actually, if you go to, there's two ways to do that. Actually, if you go to Control, now like I was saying before, what you can do in here is you can customize one of these knobs to send MIDI CCs. So now what I'm doing is I'm setting MIDI CCs to my DAW, or just a quick button shift, boom, now I'm back in my DAW control mode. What I can do is, like for instance in Ableton, these will be set to the eight device controls. Whatever the little blue hand is clicking on, now I'm tweaking the first 8 parameters.
Okay. And will there be maps for non-synths and non-instruments?
Right now this is instruments only.
Okay.
This is VST instruments only. You know, watch for updates, and what we'll be doing is eventually we'll be hopefully very soon, what we'll be doing is when you jump back into the multi-page here, what I'd like to do is maybe have like a send and return, and then have like maybe an insert, or maybe just have a version of VIP that's just effects. You know, that way you just load that into an effects slot on your DAW and you can tweak it from here.
And I guess because you can just map MIDI CCs, there's still the option that people in the forums and the communities can just make maps for certain plugins anyway. Yeah. Okay.
The way I work with it at home, because we've been working on this for about 2 years now, and you know, I've had this in my studio for the last 6 months, and what I usually will do is I'll just hold shift, jump to here, and then use the little blue hand inside Ableton. If you have an APC40, you can actually select your devices with the APC40, tweak it with here, tweak it with APC40. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing us today.
No
Cheers.
problem. Thanks.
Man.